Hi, and welcome to part 3. In part 3 we will take a look at how Carlsen gets to the world #1 position. At first, our Norwegian hero is struggling at top level, and this first game will show you how hard it is at first to adjust to the grand stage. On the other hand, the 16-year-old Magnus is playing Kramnik here in Dortmund, this Sparkassen tournament, which is Vladimir's favorite tournament in the whole world. Actually today it's actually called the Vladimir Kramnik tournament because he has won it so much. Because he has won it so many times. Let's start the game. Kramnik is playing white and plays knight f3. Magnus plays knight f6, c4, e6, g3. This is a nasty move order to trick a Queen's Indian opponent into the Catalan opening, because suppose black would play b6, then white would just go on bishop g2, and in the main line of the Queen's Indian, black would play bishop a6 to harass this pawn, but it's not so very weak right now, because after b3 the main line would have went bishop b4 check, but now there's no check. So that's the big advantage of keeping your d-pawn where it is as white and forcing the Catalan opening on your opponent. Or the Queen's Indian with bishop b7, but that's a little bit more passive than bishop a6. So Magnus plays d5. Kramnik now plays d4, so he has managed to get a Catalan opening. And I should say, if you play black in one of these systems, so with the knight f6 and e6, so something no.1 like, then you should really be prepared for the Catalan because they can always get it. Magnus proceeds, bishop e7, bishop g2, castle kingside, d takes c4, this is the main line, nothing special. Yet, queen c2, a6, queen takes c4, b5, queen c2, bishop b7, bishop d2, and this is still all main line, knight c6, e3, knight b4, bishop takes b4, a3, and as we can see, white is playing here for the squares on c5 and c6, which get weak because the pawn on c7 is blocking any influence of the rooks. So white would really like to get a knight on c5 or c6. Magnus plays bishop e7, knight bd2, rook c8, b4. It's lovely to see how Kramnik places all his pawns on the dark squares. It's the color of the bishop he does not own, and he plays with this rule really well. And Magnus here plays a mistake, a5. Magnus gets impatient against the dreadful Catalan opening, and I wonder actually if the inhabitants of Catalonia, and especially the wonderful city of Barcelona, are actually aware of the fact that there's a boa constrictor giant chess opening named after their country. Yes, I actually recognized Catalonia as an independent country in my last remark. I hope I don't offend Spain or any Spaniards with these remarks, but if so, I'm sorry. I'm just calling it a country. Can't help it. So, knight e5, knight d5, and the d2 knight will have a wonderful route right now. Knight b3, a takes b4, knight a5, and look how they are coordinating on c6. Bishop a8, knight a c6, bishop takes c6, knight takes c6, queen d7, bishop takes d5, e takes d5, and a takes b4. And look at this dream position for white. I mean, it's amazing to play something like this. I would really love to play something like this. Yes, it's one of the reasons why you play chess, probably, and probably the biggest reason why Kramnik is still playing. Rook fe8, rook a5, and b5 pawn is now lost. Bishop f8, knight e5, queen e6, rook takes b5, rook b8, rook takes b8, rook takes b8, queen takes c7, bishop d6, queen a5, rook takes b4, rook b1, queen d6, queen a4. So black resigned here, and I think Magnus underestimated the level of his opponent here. The move a5 gives like completely the game away, and he has to adjust to this. So he cannot make these kinds of mistakes anymore. And we will see happily in the next game how Magnus adjusted to the top level, and this actually happened pretty fast. So after some more games against Vladimir, he found a way to beat him.